Hi, friends. Welcome to The Book Was Hotter, presented by Avon Books. We are talking paranormal today, perfect for hunting season, and I have a very, very special guest with me, New York Times bestselling author, Akwaeke Emezi! Woo! Yes, you're that day damn icon!
Thank you so much for having me.
I am so excited to chat about Son of the Morning. This was delicious. It was haunting. It was decadent. It was everything. But first, let's talk about I want to know what you're reading, what you're watching, what you're listening.
No, absolutely. I am watching Bon Appetit, Your
Oh,
Majesty on
okay.
Netflix. It is it is a K-drama.
I love this. I was
It
like,
gets
is
it
this
gets
like a cooking show
it
or?
gets better
Oh,
about a
okay.
3-star Michelin chef who gets sent back in time to like an ancient Korean like dynasty time where there's an emperor and becomes the emperor's personal cook. He spends a good amount, it's really like enemies to lovers. Like he spends a solid amount of time trying to murder her because he's convinced she's a ghost because she's like, I came from the future.
That's my favorite.
And then he turns her into like the head cook of the palace. And then all his consorts are also trying to murder her. And she's just like, I just want to go home. I was on a flight to Paris.
And maybe like cook good food, like I guess, like.
But
oh my
it's
God.
so cool because
Is
they're
the
like,
emperor really hot?
the emperor is hot.
Okay, that's great. That's great to know.
And she's cooking all this stuff. I'm honestly in it for the food. I'm not gonna lie. Like, because she's so excited about having all these like ancient ingredients to work with.
Yeah, I imagine.
And so she cooks like something fancy every episode.
And I bet they're so impressed because like they have never.
Because they've never seen it.
Dealt,
She brought
yeah.
gochujang and they had never had it.
Oh,
And
she changed
apparently
their
food
lives.
wasn't spicy back then, so they lost their minds.
Oh
But
my
it's
God.
so cool. He gives her like a greenhouse as a present at some point, and he's like trying
Wow.
to pretend that like, you know,
We
he's
love a
not
man who
falling in love with
listens and
her.
is like, like.
So that is what I'm watching.
Okay.
And
Are you
then
reading something fun?
what am I reading? Right now, I'm actually reading Alexandra Vasti's Ladies in Hating,
Ooh,
which is a
historical.
sapphic enemies
Regency.
to lover. I'm sensing a theme, actually.
Yeah, I was like, wait.
And I'm reading that, and it's super fun because they truly, truly do hate each other. And they're both authors. So
Oh, that's perfect. What are you listening to?
I'm listening to early 2000s mixes.
That's really like take me back in time.
I'm like, take me back to when I was in college.
Yes,
Like
that
I
is
would just
perfect,
like to
reminisce.
stay in that sonic window
Yeah,
forever. I don't know what's happening now, but I do know that Usher is popping.
And you know what? It's always nice to go back and be like, oh yeah, I did shake ass to that. You know?
Yes, and shake ass quite well, I might say.
No. So okay, for everybody that doesn't know yet, Son of the Morning, can you tell us like a quick pitch of like, imagine like you're talking to your best friend, and I don't know if you have seen that creator on TikTok, and they call them Bible fanfiction.
Oh my God.
I love that review.
I told her in the comments, I was like, I'm stealing that.
Yeah, no, literally.
I was like, I'm
saw that
sorry.
and I'm stealing that.
I'm absolutely stealing that because it is Bible fan
fiction. Yeah.
I was joking with someone once and I was saying, oh, I got paid to write fan fiction about Lucifer.
And you did it quite well. I mean,
Thank you.
Incredible.
Thank
Well,
you.
sorry, the quick pitch.
Okay, so Son of the Morning is about Galilee Kincaid and Lucifer, the devil. Galilee is a Black woman who was raised in the Deep South. She's, you know, as one does, she's got like power inside her that she doesn't quite know what to do with. She's got an overprotective family. And so she strikes out. She was like, no, I must be myself. Who am I away from my family? And so she goes to the big city. She goes to the big city and makes her own friends and all of that. And then she meets Lucifer at a party. Shenanigans ensue.
Immediately,
like, quite fast. Sometimes it'd be like that.
Yeah.
Like sometimes the chemistry is just, you're just like, you know what, let me be a little crazy at this party. Let's get a little wild. And then everything kind of escalates from there. They've got this immediate attraction. She can sense that Lucifer isn't human. More importantly, he can sense that she is not human, which she does not know.
Yes.
And everything unfolds from that. His princes of hell are against them being together. Her family is like, that's literally the devil, girl. Be fucking for real. Like,
And she's like, look at him.
she's
And
like, are you seeing what I've got to work
yeah,
with?
exactly. And
And then
you
everything is
won't-
chaos.
Yeah, you won't understand until you read the book, but that Neil scene, cross.
I reserve comments until you read the book.
Yeah. Ooh. It was so good. Wait, I just want to like know everything, like from the very beginning, like what sparked the idea, like what came to you first.
So what had happened was I was working on a completely different book.
Ooh.
And then
Has the book has been out yet?
no.
Okay.
No, I don't remember what book I have.
Okay, 'cause I was
Honestly,
gonna
I
tell
have
you
like
what book.
6 books in
Mm.
progress. It was one of them.
Yeah.
I was working on a completely different book. I think I had like a dream about it, and I woke up and I was like, "Oh, you know what? I should write a fun little novella." I was like, "I'll write a quick 20,000 word novella about,
No.
the devil and this girl from the South, and it'll be adorable. It'll be a really quick thing. I could totally do a novella." 100,000 words later,
We have this masterpiece.
I was like, well, I guess I got distracted by a sexy book about Lucifer. My bad.
Oopsies, I did that. Well, not only do we have the devil, we have someone else in the book as well.
I know, we should like show, we don't have the back.
No, we don't have the
We
back.
have like the little art thingy.
Yeah, we'll do a pop-up. Ta-da!
Ta-da!
But I mean, of course, we have like different points of views. Like, there's
Yes.
one point of view that we don't know who they are for a
little
very
mystery.
long time. I want to know like what character came to you first. Was it
Ooh,
Gally or like Lucy?
That's a good question.
Or secret mystery.
I think it might have been Lucifer.
Of course, he would be like, you have to tell us.
And then Galilee. I added the mystery perspective a little later to kind
Yeah.
of diversify. I find that honestly, it's a habit I have in my books of like multiple POV. Apologies to any readers who don't like that. I don't know how to stop.
No, don't stop. Don't stop. No, because each of them they're so distinct and like they each like it's so important to hear from every single perspective because it enriches you in every single character. Like we even see from Grandma for a little bit. Like
Oh yes, I love putting like a random one chapter like switch up because I think you switch between the characters for most of the book. You kind of get to know what they sound like. It can get a little like, okay, I know what I'm getting, and so I like to just drop in a little. And now you have a different voice, and you're like, oh, okay, spice it up.
And again, it's perfect because it enrich. I was like, oh, and it's nice that like sometimes as a reader, like you find out things first in them, and you're just waiting for them to know. I'm like, when are you guys gonna catch up?
Wait for that. And I think that's why sometimes people complain about spoilers in a sense, but I think when it comes to romance, there's always a spoiler, right?
Absolutely.
You know who they're gonna end up together. That's the point of the genre. If they
That's
don't
how
end
I
up
feel.
together,
I was like-
it's not a romance. And so
Spoiler,
it's not.
they kiss. They more than kiss.
So it's not really that they end up together. It's how.
Absolutely.
And I think when you get really interested in the how,
Mhm.
you get to really enjoy the story. I think partly that's why I like romances because I have anxiety and I'm just like, I just want to know everything's going to be fine. I just want to know everything's going to be fine in the end. I don't care what happens in between. Like when I watch TV shows, I like look up spoilers for the episodes because I was like,
I'm
you're
the
not
same
going to
way.
dysregulate my nervous system. The world is doing that enough already.
No, I completely agree. And then sometimes they kill your favorite character, or like they go completely out of like whack, and you're like, where did that go?
It's not going to happen in a romance novel.
Yeah, that will never happen.
We're here for you. We're here to hold you tight with security and surety.
But not only that, but like kind of like you said, it's like they like yes, you have the romance and like you know how they're gonna end, but like they're also like going through their own journey together. Like Gally like wants to find who she is. Like it's like what she has always known that there's something.
It's like she wants to find who she is, but she's also scared of it.
Yes.
And I think that's something that so many people can relate to, right?
Mhm.
You want to step into your power, but everyone knows that stepping into your power comes with a cost. And then the question is, are you willing to pay that cost? You want to be independent. You want to live outside from your family. Are you willing to deal with the fractures that that's going to cause
Absolutely.
in your relationships? Are you willing to, pay the cost of being independent and pay the cost of finding out who you are? And that's kind of the question she
Mhm.
has to deal with throughout the book, especially as she finds out more and more and a bit more than she bargained for, to be honest.
Yeah. I want to know, like, also, what did it go into creating Lucifer? Like,
Ah, oh, I love him, my favorite devil.
Lucy!
So,
Like, when the nickname came out, and I was like, oh, yeah, that's my close personal friend, Lucifer.
I wanted to make him distinct,
Mhm.
right? Like, I didn't want people to read it and be like, oh, this is, like the Lucifer from the TV show, for
Mhm.
example. And I also wanted to make him like a black Southern devil,
Mhm.
making deals at the crossroads and just the syncretism of kind of like black spiritual traditions and Christian spiritual
Yeah.
traditions. And then you end up with someone, you know, like Lucifer. But I think one of the most interesting things to me about the devil is that in canon, the Bible, um, in canon, he's a manager.
Truly.
He works for God. Like, that's actually his job. He's a manager. He manages hell,
Mhm.
and he is in the employment hierarchy
No,
of
when it
heaven.
came out in the book, and I was like, okay, we're like in an apartment. Like, I wonder how his like yearly review is gonna go.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
It's like he can get into trouble.
yeah.
And so I wanted to write, this really heartbroken angel who has fallen
Yeah.
and who becomes like, can we swear on this? I've been
Hell yeah.
swearing. Who becomes a real dick because of it. Like, he's such an asshole because he's lost his entire family,
Of course.
right?
Yeah.
Like, he asked too many questions. It's very also like, it's a little good omens coded. We only recognize Terry Pratchett. Um,
Yes.
and and I wanted to write, this heartbroken devil who becomes kind of the worst version of himself
Yeah.
and then finds his way back.
Yeah.
So it's really a love story about like a devil who has found his own form of redemption
Yeah.
in the hell that he was locked away in, you know?
Yeah.
And like, yes, it's a little bit like the devil as a victim of heaven. And part of what I was trying to do with the book theologically is kind of question, the dominant stories that
Yeah.
Christianity, like, it's Bible fanfic, right? It's like,
Yeah.
okay, the church has been teaching you this. All of these things have been teaching you this. Let's give another perspective.
Yeah. Like, I wonder, like, and also you have like the found family aspect to it,
Yes.
that like he changes, right? Through time, through experience. He hurts people sometimes, like,
Yeah.
and then he grows from it. And I really enjoy how he changes his management systems
Yeah.
as he
He
grows.
was just like, okay, let's talk about the dissemination of power in
Yeah.
hell and let's give, because I think that's one of these like ethical questions, right? It's like when you're an entity that has so much power, which is what he is, and he found out that having that unchecked power led to him being pretty abusive. And so he's like, okay, I need to put checks and balances for myself.
Yeah.
And then you see him kind of struggle with that with his Princess of Hell throughout the book,
Yeah.
where he's like, I made this agreement with you guys that you are allowed to check me without me, I don't know, nuking you to dust, which he could do. And so he gives them this like agency and autonomy and, you know, lets them talk back to
Mm.
him. And you see the moments where it's hard for him to stick to that because he really like he's
He
angry
really
enough.
wants when he really wants something. I was like, also for a second, I was like, boy, you're Lucifer. Like,
You can do what
like,
you
you can
want.
do whatever you
You can
want.
do what you want when you popping.
Especially when they were trying to hurt my girl. Like, I was like, no.
And so he's like, okay, and I think these
But
are
I
like,
think that was like the test,
that's
right?
a test, exactly. When you say that you have these morals and these principles
Yes.
and these standards, will you stick to them even when it doesn't benefit you? Will you stick to them even when the result is something that you really like you would have to sacrifice? They're asking him to sacrifice her.
Yes.
And he's like, I could just destroy you.
But I said I
But then I gave my word. And I love seeing like the devil of all people going through like ethical quandaries.
No, it was like really great to see, and again, like such like all the dynamics and everything that is like they were really comfortable with him, you
Yeah.
know. But also we have another group, the Kincaid.
The Kincaids.
Can you
I
tell me
love
a
them.
little more about them?
They're named after Jamaica Kincaid.
Oh my god! Yeah, it was like kind of like magical. Well, they're
Yeah. It
can
is someone was saying, I think it was actually the same person said the Bible fanfic was that the first like the prologue of the book feels like a fairy tale.
it does. It really does, and it's like like those fairy tales that is like you get everything you want in a way, but it comes with a cost.
It always comes back to the cost. Yeah, the book starts with the Kincaids in their world, right? Which is very much influenced by like my time in the South. Like when I first came to the US, I came for college and I was in Appalachia. Um, which I don't know if Appalachia counts as the South. It certainly felt like the South. Like it was in Virginia on the border of Tennessee.
Oh, I feel like it's a feeling. So it's like I'm also from Texas, so it's like wow.
And I was there, for my formative teenage years because I started college very early. I was like
Mhm.
16 and I graduated at 19. So all
Wow.
that time I was like in the deep South. And then I went up north and everyone was like, "Why are you calling me honey?" And I was like, "I'm sorry."
My
and
bad.
and then I went back down to New Orleans and have lived in Louisiana for a while. So I feel like the Kincaids are very much from that Black Southern Gothic,
Mhm.
tradition. It's giving Daughters of the Dust, it's giving Eve's Bayou, and you
Yeah.
get that vibe from them. They are a clan of women. They don't keep men. Just no men. Don't ask what happened to them.
Decenter men from your life.
Exactly. And they all have some kind of like supernatural ability, but it's considered normal,
Yeah.
which I think is true because magic is real.
Mm.
And especially in, Black and Indigenous peoples, you just understand that that is part of life.
Yeah.
But Galilee has a little more, like it's a little to the
Yeah.
point where even her family's like, hold on
Yeah.
for a second. And that's part of why she leaves her family and leaves like their little enclave in the country and goes into the town. But they are not willing to let go of her
And
that
like
easily.
she doesn't either in the way that like she still talks to her cousins. They're so important to her.
Yes, her cousins are so important. And then when one of her cousins, finds out that the devil has come into play, they're like, they're like, girl, we ride at dawn.
We were at dawn. But I was like, wait, girl, he's so hot. And then also, don't snitch. Like, come to me first.
And that becomes part of like, her struggle for autonomy from her family, where she's like, I
Yeah.
know what I'm doing. And everyone assumes that she doesn't. They're
Yeah.
like, oh, he's the devil. He must have entranced you. You don't know what you want. You don't know what you like. You're too weak for this. And it just like, you can see through the book where it just really gets under her skin.
Yeah. I would love to know, like, what was your favorite scene to write? And you can like hint as much as you want.
I think okay, so I feel like it is not a spoiler to say that it's a why choose,
No, it's
right?
not a
Because Levi is literally on the cover. Like I don't know what to tell you. It's two men on the cover. They're both involved. And I think my favorite scene was there's a scene where she and Levi go from wanting to kill each other to being like
Wait.
okay, maybe I do find you like a little attractive. And their vibe, like Galilee and Levi, their chemistry is so different
Yes.
from Galilee and Lucifer because ironically, Lucifer is nicer.
Yup.
Like
Yes.
he's softer, he's kinder, and I mean like he's not that kind,
Yeah.
but his vibe with her is a lot more tender. I
Yeah.
think her vibe with Levi is
It's
like
like-
they've got spikes and sparks like going, and I really love that they, it's still her, but she has such a different dynamic and she's
Mhm.
getting something different from each of them. And I think just writing that chemistry as it started to like coalesce
Yeah.
into something solid, that was my favorite part because I was just like, I can feel the sparks from you two.
Yeah. Do you know from the very beginning that they were all gonna, well, spoiler and spoiler, source cross, and it's not a love triangle. It's really like they all love each other. So like, do you know that this dynamic was gonna go like this from the very beginning, or like did you like just meet Levi and they're like, wait a second, like actually,
Mm.
like this like makes sense, because actually I think they all balance each other out so
Yeah,
well
they really do in all
in all
directions. Like
directions.
it's a
Yes.
true love triangle.
Exactly. Like it, like almost like they were incomplete. Like Gally and
Yeah.
Lucy were incomplete until Levi came. And
And Lucy and Levi were incomplete
yes,
until
into each
Gally
other. Yeah,
came.
when you hear from their backstory,
Yeah.
from Levi's backstory, I was like, oh my god! Like
I know.
that first line that is like he was the first one to love him.
My babies! My poor tortured babies. I didn't know actually originally. I knew that like Levi and Lucifer had some history.
Mm-hmm.
And to be fair, the first draft of the book was only about like 75,000 words.
Oh
And it
wow.
was written to kind of be like first in a series.
Mm-hmm.
And then my editor Laura was like, "You have so many loose ends. Tie them up." She didn't say it like that. She's much nicer. And I was like, "No, I want to leave it vague." But honestly, it's because I was tired. And it was meant to be a novella. So like I was like, I'm going to write 20,000 words. And then it hit 75. And I was like, I'm done. Whatever is going on with you guys, y'all can work it out in the sequel. I'm not dealing with this. And then Laura was like, come on, you got to finish the book. And then I added 25,000 words and it became 100,000. And that's when I really like tied a lot of the loose ends and connected it. And that's when Levi kind of, because when I wrote the first draft, Levi popped up and I was like, what are you doing here? And then he and Gally had this chemistry and I was like, you're not, hey, stop that. Stop that. You're not supposed to be doing that. And so when I was revising it, then I like worked him in earlier and kind of set more of the foundation because he had kind of hijacked it, honestly, in the first draft and balanced. It was a lot of balancing. It was a lot of balancing and fleshing out and this and that. And it made sense, you know? I was like, oh, I can see where you guys all fit in with each other. I think that Levi and Lucifer's backstory is like really heartbreaking.
It is.
Especially just how long he made Lucifer grovel. Like it's
I
pretty
did
impressive.
enjoy that. I did enjoy that.
Like, but he's just like such a hurt like Lucifer is not particularly angsty, but Levi is absolutely like broody, angsty. Oh my God, you broke my heart a couple of millennia ago. I'm never letting that shit go.
No, and you know that the devil was a yearner, you know?
Yes.
He
And Lucifer's
yearned for
just like,
millennia.
what do I need to do?
Yeah, please tell
And
me.
Levi's like, fuck you, actually. Like, I don't like
but
you.
no matter what, like there was still that love and like that
Yeah.
understanding, like that never went away.
Yeah, it's like that's still my right hand, you know?
Yeah.
Like that's still the person who's protecting me. That's still I think one of my favorite lines was when they're having a conversation and I think Levi like drops to his knees in front of Lucifer just to talk to him. And Lucifer's like, I never want to see him on his knees in front of me ever again. Like, because it was just so painful. And I was like, y'all drive me crazy.
So okay, so when were you adding, do you also took something? Like I want to know if there were like any deleted scenes or anything extra that like, and it's okay if the answer is no.
Added so much that there wasn't really much there wasn't really much taken out. But I think one of my favorite, and I cannot talk about it because it's literally the end of the book and it would absolutely be a spoiler, but just like the final, like the epilogue, that part, I was really proud of it. I was just like, oh, all the threads were like coming in together. I was like, ooh, this is so satisfying.
No, it was really great. I was like, if you need suggestions, again, I was telling you, I was like, I would love to see them on a road trip. I would love to see them pick out a movie, like just any, like
Just
anything
all the
where they're
cute
all
stuff.
happy and cute and like living their life.
I know it gives. I think a couple of people had asked whether like it's the first in a series, and I think usually with all my books, it's open ended. Like
This one's really open ended.
it's like there's always the potential to come back and like pick it up.
Yeah. Well, please do. Because I just want to see more of them, and it's just them grocery shopping. I don't care.
I know, they'd be so cute.
I would also love to know the research process of this. Like, do you read the Bible? Like,
I didn't have to research it because I had already read the Bible cover to cover. I was raised Christian. I was raised Catholic, actually. And like,
me too.
I was raised, yes. It's like I had my first communion,
Me too.
I had my confirmation, like extremely Catholic. And when I say Catholic, this is from my mom's side of the family.
Mhm.
So my mom is Malaysian, and we have Carmelite nuns in the family. And also my grandmother's brother was the Archbishop of Kuala Lumpur.
Oh my
So
god.
incredibly Catholic. Like my family's so Catholic that my dad isn't. And when he married my mom, like, technically he's supposed to convert. You're not supposed to be able to marry a Catholic without
Mhm.
converting. And I think the family lore is that the Archbishop had to do like a special dispensation to allow them to get married without my dad converting. But the condition was
Wow.
that the kids would have to be raised Catholic if he didn't convert. So
It
we
was
were
like a
raised.
special kind of contract. It's like, we can work something out, but you have to promise
Exactly,
that
but
the
like,
kids
no,
will.
your kids belong to the church. And so I was raised very, very Catholic and had already read the Bible, was already deeply familiar with,
Mhm.
biblical lore enough to write a fan fiction about it.
Oh my god. No, that's great. Like, again, like, it felt like, 'cause my mom would read me like fairy tales, and then when
Uh-huh.
I was staying with my grandma during the summer, she would read me the Bible to go to sleep.
Amazing. The Bible has some great stories.
It does.
I'm so
like-
sorry. I was reading the Bible as a child for the sex scenes.
Yeah, and it
I
has
don't know
so
what
much
to tell
violence
you.
as
It's
well.
got some really troubling sex
Mm.
scenes. Like, I'm like, if there was something to corrupt one as
Yeah.
a child, it would be like there's so much incest there.
Yeah, there's a lot of like, I don't want to say weird stuff, but there's a
It's
lot in it.
no,
there's
there's
like
a lot of weird
it
stuff.
is a, yeah.
It's very questionable.
Wait, before I also want to know your lore as a writer. Like, why do you decide to become a writer? But first, I just want to put in a fun question. And this is mostly for me.
Uh-huh.
So when they live here on Earth, what would be like their fun hobbies?
Oh, like the three of them?
Yeah, there are three of them. It could be like separate. It's like maybe Levi and Lucy do something, or like Gally and
That
Levi
is
do
such a good
something.
question.
Because I was like looking at them like doing a puzzle, and I think it would be hilarious. Like, I think Lucifer would be like, no.
I feel like it would probably be some weird stuff. Like Levi is very weapons oriented, so
Mm,
I could see him getting into like axe throwing.
that would be perfect. He'd be
Like,
really good at it, and
he'd be
everybody.
really good at it, which is why he would like it. Like
I have a friend who's really good at it too. Like, he didn't know, and then every time we
didn't
go,
know he was good at throwing axe.
we
Who
like he
finds
was
out
like,
that out,
yeah,
to be fair?
maybe he was faking it the whole entire time, and we were like, oh yeah, I didn't know. But every time we go axe throwing, they were like, do you want to join the league? Like, and I didn't know
Not
there was
the
a league
of axe throwing.
Mhm.
Levi would be in a league of axe
That's
throwing.
where I was going. Yeah,
Yeah.
he would be the captain of the league.
He would absolutely be the he would actually just take over.
Yeah, he'd be
the
like,
entire
this is my
league.
team now.
This is my team now. You are my sons. So let's see. Levi would do axe throwing. I'm trying to think what Lucifer would be into. For some reason, I think cooking.
Devil cooking show. Yeah.
Like I feel like he would be into that.
because he's also like a caretaker kind of situation that is just like, I want to
He
provide for
really
you.
is. He's a real softie. Like
He
he loves having like, his little princes and taking care of them and then adding Gally to the fold
Yeah.
and then her friends. Gally, because she already has the bees.
Yeah.
So she kind of like makes honey.
Mm-hmm.
And I could see her doing like, some cottagecore shit just based off like the
Absolutely.
honey and the bees and herbs and gardens and that kind of wholesome stuff. Like a bit witchy, I'm
Ooh.
growing all these herbs, I'm making tinctures.
Yeah, that'd be great. And then like, how basically, like, why do you decide to become a writer? Like, I told you earlier that I was talking to some friends, and they were like, oh yeah, like the name Akwaeke Emezi means just like excellent writing. Like, I'll follow them literally anywhere. Like,
Aw.
you have taken us through so many genres, so many stories. I'm so excited for what's to come. Wink, wink. But yeah, like what sparked your joy for reading and writing?
So I have been writing, and I mean like literally writing books since I was 5.
Wow.
So the minute I could write,
You started.
I started writing. The minute I could, I was reading, I think a little bit before that. And then I started writing, and I had all these children's books that I would write and illustrate. The first one was about a helicopter named Swirly, and he
Oh,
was friends with a plane and a rocket. Um, and I had this principal who was lovely, and she would give me like blank stationery because even at 5, I was obsessed with blank stationery. I was like, yes, a blank notebook, amazing. And then I would like draw these little stories. And then when I was around 7, I just started plagiarizing Nancy Drew. So I just I just started writing these books, and it was about a detective named Nancy. I came up with my own mysteries though, to be fair. It was like
you were
Nancy and the
into
mystery of the missing jade. And then there's like a jade missing, and she's got to go with her friends to like find it out. I also grew up reading Enid Blyton
Oh,
because my mom has some siblings. My mom has like 7 siblings.
oh wow, big
Chunk of
family.
them live in the UK. So they would bring like British children's books
Mm-hmm.
down. I blame Dr. Dolittle and the James Herriot books for me deciding that I wanted to become a vet when I was 8, and then
Mm-hmm.
everyone took it seriously, and I like ended up at Tufts in vet school because of some books I read when I was a child. Why would you listen to me? Anyway, I've been writing the whole time, and my parents were like super supportive.
I
They
love
were
that.
very supportive about like they were big readers. Like they literally came into the marriage with like their own separate libraries. And my
Whoa.
dad had like those Reader's Digest condensed novels. And I was reading those when I was 7. And I know I was 7 because there was a character in a book who was 7. And her brother was like, oh, she's silly because she's 7. And I took great personal offense to it. I was like, I'm 7 and I'm not silly. Why is he saying that she's silly just because she's 7? And they also didn't like censor my books at all.
I love
So
that.
I read anything and everything. I read Flowers in the Attic when I was like 9. Not the best thing to read at 9, but
No, no, like I feel like also like where you when you're like you know you have an international family and like they come from
Mhm.
different places. Like I feel like I don't know, like there's so many like stories. I'm originally from Mexico. I lived 15 years there, and like I go back to some stories and I was like, why was I reading about like children disappearing into the night or like big
But
monsters
you
and
know
stuff
what?
like
It's
that?
real shit.
It's
That
real,
shit
yeah,
happens. You
yeah.
know, like don't cotton wool the kids. It's a
N-
controversial topic in some spaces, but I appreciated not being censored for
mm,
my reading as a child. Like
so
there
you
were
could
times where there was a
explore.
book that was like too traumatic, and you know what I did? I closed it and I gave it to a trusted adult. Like I literally gave it to like my best friend's mom, and I was like, "Oh, I shouldn't be reading this. This one's upsetting me." And she took it, and it was fine. Like
Yeah.
everything was cool. So I was reading and writing books already, and then I got detoured by the whole vet thing, and then went to vet school.
Oh
What's
my
I know
god.
I really did. And then I realized that
Wow.
I didn't like people that much, especially people who owned animals and were a lot about it. I had very strong views about animals not being allowed to suffer. And I was like,
Mhm.
oh, I'm not going to be able to work with people who are keeping their animals alive just because they can't bear to lose them when the animal is clearly
Mhm.
suffering. Um, and so I dropped out of vet school, went to
Wow.
NYU, did a master's in public administration for no good reason, honestly. My parents were like, "You need a graduate
Mhm.
degree." And I was like, "Sure." And then I was working for a nonprofit in Manhattan for a little bit, running an education website. And a couple of my friends were like, "Hey, sweetie, so you've got like 6 Tumblrs, like 6 Tumblr accounts, and you're writing on nearly all of them, and maybe you should consider taking your writing like teens a bit more seriously.
Oh
Like
my
maybe you should
god.
like go get an MFA or, do something with that." And it's funny because when I was in undergrad, I had a creative writing professor, like a literature professor who pulled me aside, and I was like 17, 18, and he told me, "Hey, you need to change your major to creative writing." And I laughed in his face. I was like, I'm a Nigerian immigrant. That's not happening. Like, my parents will never let me change my major to creative writing. They're excited I'm going to be a doctor at 23. Are you kidding? They're never going to let me do that. They were not going to. Um, but I didn't get the doctorate. I did an MFA briefly, long enough to write my first book, and then I dropped out because it was too political, and
Yeah.
I truly did not care about anything other than the story. I was like, I don't know what's going on. I have no intention to teach. I just want to write my books. Y'all are a lot
Absolutely.
of drama. I'm just gonna go over here and write my books. And then that's how I ended up
And look at you
writing
now,
books.
New York Times bestselling author,
Book number 10!
icon. Oh my
Book number 10!
god!
Ah,
Oh,
it's
what
such a
a
milestone.
journey! Well, I feel like the whole world is so thankful that you're writing these stories.
Oh, I'm glad.
No, truly, like it's such a accomplishment, and congratulations for everything.
Thank you.
I want to know, going back to the book, what surprised you the most?
Ooh, I think once again, when you start out just thinking that you're gonna write like a quick novella, that at that point was probably just going to be erotica.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's 20,000 words. I'm like, what are y'all really doing other than hooking up? And then the book just kept getting bigger and bigger and, more established
Mm-hmm.
in a sense. And I was like, oh, look, you have an actual plot. And I think I'm always surprised by the characters, because I have a lot of characters across a lot of books. Multiple of my books are
Yeah.
from multiple like points of view. So you're really close to a lot of different characters.
Yeah.
And I feel like sometimes I wondered, like, would I run out of characters? Would a character in this book start sounding like a character 3 books ago? Because there's so many, and they never do.
Yeah.
They're all themselves. Like they are all distinct people
Mm-hmm.
who have their own like personalities and backstories and ways of talking and this and that. And I think that's been like a pleasant surprise. It's like they hold their own and they're like, yeah, no, we're us. Like
Yeah.
we're our own people.
I love that. And there's so many like things that you can take away from Son of the Morning, but what is like your main takeaway that you want readers to take away from this book?
I'm usually not prescriptive about what I want readers to take away from it because I don't actually think that's my place to tell them. I'm always nosy, so nosy. I'm like so curious. I want to know what they took away from it. I want to know because I feel like that experience of them reading and encountering the work is something that belongs so intimately to them.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like this relationship between them and the work that I as an author feel really grateful when like they talk about it or they post about it because I'm being invited into this intimate space that they share with the work
Yeah.
that I mean, sometimes I'm not being invited. Sometimes I'm just at the window, like
You're like,
creepily. Exactly.
I
Just
love what
like
you said about Bible fan fiction. I'm gonna steal that.
I'm just like nosy. I'm like watching them and I'm just like, ooh, tell me more. But I feel like that's the thing that completes the circle, right? Like a story is not a story
Yeah.
until someone listens to it. And until someone like feels it and engages with it. And I think what I got out of it um, was just so this is my favorite thing about romance as a
Mm-hmm.
genre
Mm-hmm.
in general is that romance teaches you about possibility. Like so many people talk down on the genre. And when I started writing, like commercial fiction, commercial romance, people really treated it like it was a step down from lit fic. Like, oh my God, like your writing's gotten worse. And I'm just like, no, it actually hasn't. I'm writing in a specific style for a specific genre. You just don't like it because you like literary fiction. Go read literary fiction. But one of the things that I think people underestimate about romance so much is that everything that story does and the way it translates into the real world is about how imagination leads to possibility and how that possibility as paved by imagination is literally the only way we change the world. Like when my first YA novel Pet came out, that was something I said often. The first step to making a better world is that you have to be able to imagine it. And where romance comes in is that it teaches you so much about love,
Yeah.
right? Romance novels are just about all these different scenarios in which love is possible. And with Son of the Morning, it is this scenario of okay, you are a terrifying person. Your own family is kind of scared of you. You know, your own family doesn't really know what to do with you. And there's something deep in there about feeling unlovable because you are illegible to the people that are closest to you. You know, Galilee spends most of the book hiding from her friends.
Yeah.
She doesn't show her friends who she really is because she's like, they're not going to be able to handle it. The people who raised me can't handle it. Why would these strangers be able to handle it? And that seed of like, I am unlovable because there is something about me that scares people is like very deeply rooted in her until she meets someone who is more terrifying than her, technically, like, you know, to other people. And then in being seen by Lucifer, and even the way that Levi sees her, even though like they start as enemies, where he's like, I'm going to kill you, you know, but even in that, right, seeing her in that way is so different from how her family sees her. You know, because her family's like, okay, she's got this thing, but you know, she's also kind of fragile and we got to keep her, you know, coddled and all of that. And Levi sees her as his equal.
Yeah.
He sees her as like, no, you are powerful enough to be a threat to the devil, and I'm going to kill you because of it. And there's respect there because he's respecting her as a threat. He's respecting her power. And I think for me, writing this story and then reading it back in so many edits, you read the book so many times. It's truly exhausting. But I think that was the thing that I took away, right? It's like no matter how different you feel, no matter how illegible you feel, and no matter how bright you think your light is, where it's like it's too bright, it's scaring people, there is that possibility of someone whose light is also bright, who's also illegible, who feels the way that you feel. And then you guys find each other and you don't terrify each other.
Yeah.
And then you end up together happily ever after. And I feel like that's what's important, right? Like that possibility that I think that's across all romance books, that's a possibility. You are lovable. And people might diminish that, but I'm just like, I would like to see you do a liberation in a world where people don't believe they're lovable. And all the things that fan out from that, all the abuses, familial, structural, political, national, like all the things that come out of people who do not value themselves as lovable because that's what they've been taught. So, yes, what I am saying is romance is essential to liberation.
Oh, yes to everything you just said. Incredible.
Sorry, I get on a little
No,
soapbox
go
sometimes.
go off, go off. No, I was like clapping the whole entire time. Well, you know, I'm so excited for Son of the Morning, but I wonder if you can like tease us, tell us a secret of like what you're working on next or what's coming from you
Am
next.
I allowed to?
We'll check with Laura later.
We'll edit this out.
I don't see her. I don't see anyone right here. So
Okay, so what I'm working on next is my first adult fantasy novel. I have not actually written like full on adult, like proper fantasy before. I've written like YA fantasy. This is like a romantic fantasy. But I used to joke that it was not a joke. That fantasy and speculative fiction was actually my original genre. Like
Yeah.
that's the genre I started writing when I was like 14 when I wrote like my first novel. And then when I was entering the industry, I was a baby writer and I didn't want to start in speculative because I felt like I would be typecast and like pigeonholed. And this was back in the day when the only like West African speculative writer was Nnedi Okorafor. There was no one else, quite frankly. Like whoever else, it was just, you know, it was not the thing that it is now. So back then I was like, okay, strategically, if I want to have a sustainable career where I have mobility between genres, which genre should I start with? And I looked at the industry and I said, well, which one do they rate the most? It was literary fiction. I was like, okay, cool. I'll just drop in from the top. I'll just start there. And then I got distracted. I got distracted by YA. I got distracted by nonfiction, poetry, romance. And each time I'm just like, I'm a fantasy writer. I'm trying to get back to fantasy. But then, you know, you think you're going to write a little novella and then you end up with 100,000 words romantasy. And you're just like, well, that's another 2 years of going through a book thing before I get to the other book. But finally,
you're there.
I'm there. I turned in my edits for the adult fantasy. I'm not going to tell the title because I think Laura would kill me.
No, yeah, I just that's a perfect teaser. Adult fantasy. That's our next
adult
genre.
fantasy, full length. It is not a romance.
Okay.
It's got a ton of political world building. It's got lots of points of views.
I'm so
The
excited.
word count by the time I turned it in was 175,000 words.
Wow.
hmm
Well, I think our promise is that gonna have excellent writing as always.
I try to deliver. I do.
And just to finish it out, I want to know what are 3 books that you always recommend?
Ooh, 3 books that I always recommend. Romance, I recommend the Brown Sisters series
Mm.
by Talia Hibbert
Oh,
because Get a Life, Chloe Brown made me cry.
yes.
Really, I recommend authors more than books because I tend to read
Yeah.
like the
Okay.
entire body of work.
Absolutely.
I recommend Becky Chambers
Yes.
because Becky Chambers writes a possible future world that also, made me cry. And then I'm going to recommend my friend Ziba Blay, who wrote the book Carefree Black Girl,
Yeah.
because she is literally like probably my favorite culture writer. She has a Substack that I think everyone should subscribe to. It's like art, writing, musings of like apocalypse, like us at the end of the world. It's amazing. Yeah.
I love that. Okay, I'm sure everybody now is obsessed with you. Like they were already obsessed with you, but for everybody who's meeting you right now, where can they find you? Blogging your socials or like
Yes, I am on Instagram and TikTok and Tumblr.
Still on Tumblr!
I'm still on Tumblr. Tumblr's going strong. We didn't give up. We're still there. We're holding down the fort.
Only the real ones are
Only the
still
real ones
there.
are. And my handle is Young YUNG, Young Dead Thing. I was a rapper briefly. I released an EP last year. It was a whole thing. Go look it up.
Well, now I'm gonna go listen. Thank you so much
Thank
for
you
joining
so much.
us.
This was delightful.
Oh, I'm so excited. Again, I absolutely love your book. I'm so excited to talk to everybody who would listen to me about it.
Thank you.
And thank you so much for joining us on The Book Was Hotter. I'll see you next time. Love you. Bye.